Hi, this is Abe. I'm here for 343 Labs with another video for you. And today we're going to talk about why I love Bitwig. And I'm going to give you 5 reasons why Bitwig is #1 in my book. So the number 5 reason that I love Bitwig is, well, a lot of computers and a lot of tablets have touchscreen capabilities, but Bitwig went ahead and did the next level thing, which is they created a system for touchscreen that's exclusive to their own. So normally Bitwig looks something like this, but you can go into the settings, which will bring Bitwig to looking like this, which is different now. I have a preloaded synthesizer here which will help me demonstrate this. And what we have here is a setup with notes in a grid, which we can play like this. And if you have any experience with using a push, it's similar. You know, all the notes that are related to it pop up in different spots on the grid there. And that's great. Now I can play chords with that. And that's wonderful, but check this out. I could also grab a chord, say, and pitch it up or down. But the miraculous thing about this is that I could also do individual notes. So let me just play another note over here and pitch that one by itself. It's amazing, isn't it? As far as the use of knobs, you know, you could just nicely work it that way. But it has these new kind of setups here for things like solo and mute. You see that you get a beautiful little circle there that helps you kind of navigate this without having to go a little too crazy figuring how to do things. So I just put that in solo and so on. So I think it's amazing that Bitwig has its own exclusive custom-built UI just for the touchscreen action. Number 4, so Bitwig uses VSTs in a way that's super unique. First of all, 32-bit and 64-bit VSTs doesn't matter. It just works. No bridging needed or anything like that. Also, Bitwig uses a technology they call Sandbox, where they load the VST and the core program into separate sandboxes. So if the VST would crash in the middle of your, say, live performance or even just your session, your whole program does not crash. The VST crashes, it asks you if you want to restart it, and then it just restarts and you're up and running, or you're continuing to run. It actually doesn't even stop running. Number 3. So Bitwig has always been very future-minded. When I first heard about Bitwig, I went to visit them and they told me what they had in store. And the way that they made this program, they actually created a modular development tool, a la Reactor or something like that, that would enable them to create everything that would be Bitwig after that. And it took them a while to get this together. Now in Bitwig 3, which will be coming very soon, you're going to have something called the grid. And the grid is a collection of 128 modules that you can do pretty much anything with. So if you like Eurorack stuff or something like that, this grid is just out of sight. So we're using Bitwig 3 beta at the moment. It isn't, I don't know exactly when this will drop, but when 3 comes out, the grid is going to be the main focus of it. So let's add a grid here. Now you have 2 choices. I think there was 3, but I think in this build there's only 2 choices. There's the effects grid and there's a poly grid. And the poly grid would be, say, for an instrument. So let me just look for a poly grid and open it up. And so what you get here is a device that's, you know, the grid modules are encased in this device, and we can go ahead and look at it. And when you see what you have here, you'll see you have a menu where you could choose the type of devices you want to add. It kind of starts you out with this kind of simple synthesis setup with a oscillator going into an envelope And if I just play it here, I can just get this going. And I could skew here or fold this oscillator, get this moving here. But let's say I want to add on, say, a filter. I can just go ahead, choose from a list of filters here, grab this, drop it right where I want it to be, and now the filter is part of the whole action here. I think I need to connect this somehow so this can actually work. And there we have the filters going. But as you see, these are the collection of filters you have now: low pass, a couple of low pass, a state variant filter, a high pass, and another low pass, and a comb filter, all these oscillators, all these types of different controls, LFO, delay, math. I mean, it gets pretty involved. I haven't been through all these, but rest assured, I'll be wasting all my time on getting this going. Okay, so just like you have the poly grid, you have the FX grid, which does the same for effects. So if you're into building your own synthesizers, building your own effects, creating crazy things, well, this is for you. And this is amazing and fantastic. Okay, so number 2. Now, Bitwig sports an amazing sound engine. The summing, the just general sound of this is just a pleasure to work with. I love to do most of my mixing and mastering inside of Bitwig because it just pays off. They have, let me just play a track I have going here. So as you see here, we have these meters that are just splendid to look at. It is so precise, the action. The peak jumps here that you got going on are so easy to understand and so clear to make out the RMS and all that you're working with. Once you play with the faders and you take it up and down, you feel like you have, I know that they look kind of short, but you feel like you have so much play in there. And there's so much detail that you can move this in and get this going. Now, the number one thing that I love about Bitwig, the thing that really gets me going with it, is the modulations. Modulations, modulations, modulations. It's amazing what you can do with modulations. It basically makes the DAW a gigantic modular synthesizer. There's no way that I could demo not even 1% of what the modulators are, but let me show you a little something. Okay, so I have this polysynth set up here, and I'm just gonna play a little chord. And I can go ahead and, change the sound of it. Add some noise. Change the mix here. This is all well and good. I can do all sorts of really fun things with it. Right? Now this is manual. Now imagine that I could open this up and add some sort of control device, like an LFO, which I just did, and then turn this guy on. Anything that turns the color blue, or this bluish color, can now be assigned to it. And now look at that. I've just assigned that to that, and let's assign the noise to go the other direction. And let's add this shape this way. Look at that. That's all from just this one LFO. I could just continue to add these in there with something else now. Maybe, I don't know, a randomizer. This randomizer can also now be, let's do that to this envelope here. And let's do it to this parameter here. And this parameter there. And now we have some insanity going on, which easily happens in Bitwig. Now, modulators in Bitwig, if I were to add a modulator, I can, there are so many that like I said, we really run out of time here, but there's chaos-based ones, control-based ones, envelopes, LFOs, MIDI-type modulators, modifiers, a side chain action. I mean, this is insane. For this reason alone, you should be trying this program. My name's Abe. I'm here for 343 Labs. Come and take a course with us. I'll be mixing in Bitwig, by the way. Thanks for watching.